what? Let's get started. So we get extra time. I'll just do the spiel, and then once as people roll in, we'll actually get to content. So good morning, happy Friday. Hi. I don't know where you are. I don't know how the weather is where you are, but it is back to being cold in New York City. Lovely. Lovely, joyous. Hi, Judith. I see you. Good morning. Happy Friday. All right, so welcome, everybody. Welcome to this morning's Morning Live with me, Melissa Agnes, a daily space for leaders just like you to come, to stay, or like re-regulate, get grounded, get into clarity, get into connection with yourself. So important. Connection with source, divine, God, co-creator, universe, quantum, infinite wisdom and intelligence, whatever you want to call it, that thing that is bigger than us, that supports us. And connection with those you are leading. So I'm here every morning, Monday through Friday, unless I'm traveling, 9 a.m. Eastern, to share one piece of wisdom or thoughtful provocation I just love opening perspective. I love thinking. I am a thinker. I am a thought leader. And so I am here every morning to share a perspective or a thought, something that is meant to ground you in what is true, what is real, and what is actually important, rather than what the world outside subscribes to, which isn't always such. And then following that, I lead about a 10-minute grounding coherence drop-in. And this is meant to help you get into clarity, get into alignment, get into emotional and nervous system regulation so that you can start your day or move into the rest of your day in wholeness from a higher vibration of joy or peace or tranquility rather than stress and overwhelm and all the things that actually limit and hinder your leadership potential and capabilities. So we want to get out of that and shift. And then I'm here every morning to help you do that. So let's get started. If you have comments, if you want to share something, if I say something that is insightful or thoughtful, that gets you to think, or that triggers you and gets you annoyed or upset with me, like share this with me. Please, this is meant to be open conversation. I love your feedback. I love your questions. You can write them in the chat. You can also listen to the recordings of these whenever you need to. They are on LinkedIn, YouTube, and wherever you stream your podcasts from. And if anything that I talk about in these morning lives, you're like, I want to deepen that skill. I want to deepen that access, that part of me, that next level of me and my leadership and the mountains that you are here to move, then visit melissaagnes.com and check out the Visionary Leadership Mastermind, because these mornings are a sample, a tidbit of what you actually not just learn intellectually, but step into and embody as a leader over the course of 12 months with full support. So that is at melissaagnes.com, and just click Visionary Leadership Mastermind. We are currently enrolling for the next cohort. So if you're interested, go check it out. It's by application only. Okay, so today, as I mentioned, when I look on this side of, when you see this side of my face, I am looking at your comments. So, I'm here for them. Okay, so today, what I want to talk about is owning and stepping into your identity. Here's a fact. What got you to where you are, and where you are is probably somewhere tremendously great, successful, accomplished, all the things. What got you to where you are isn't necessarily, and most likely, especially in today's world, going to get you to the next level. And oftentimes I've done a session in the past about just mindset, right? How mindset coaching and mindset work is actually non-supportive, non-productive, because it doesn't go deep enough. What goes deep enough is identity shifting. And that's not what I talked about in that session. So these two sessions will definitely complement each other. But identity shifting, who do you get to be in order to really step into that next level of what you want to do, what you want to achieve, the mountains you're here to move, the leadership the leader you're here to be? Who do you get to be in order to be the person who can hold all of that, all of that goodness, all of that success, all of that next level responsibility, accountability, all the things. And especially in today's world where for example, I'm in the process of creating a startup, a tech startup that sits at the intersection of risk, culture, and communication for large scale organizations that are in highly volatile and risky industries. So insurance, healthcare, finance, etc. And the tech, it's going to be an OS system that's based on agentic AI. The tech is out of this world. The way that we are shifting, even how we create this product, is completely different from the way that we would have done it a month ago, right? That the world is shifting so fast. And so who you are today is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But who you are today isn't necessarily who you need to be for what you want to achieve in the near, mid, and long-term future. So it's about identity, right? And it's not about, I've said this before, it's not about fake it till you make it. It's really sitting with yourself and stepping into the future, right? Going, okay, when I am this leader, when I am moving these mountains, when I am successful in this mission, in this vision, bringing this vision to life, who is that? Who is that person? Who is that leader? What does she, he, they, what do they embody, right? How do they walk into a room? How do they look at life? How do they see the world? How do they talk to themselves internally? All important things. How do they regulate their nervous system, right? Even just on that lens, from that scope, do you want to be somebody who takes ownership and quote unquote control of your own nervous system regulation and stop living in the world with the majority of people who are constantly, research says that the majority of people live 70% of the time in stress. When you're in stress, your body is flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, which shuts down your prefrontal cortex, which limits your capacity, your capability, your strategic thinking, your innovative thought processes, your abilities to truly lead, right? So do you want to be, and stress, cortisol is addictive to the body. So who do you get to be? And I say this, what kind of really inspired this topic this morning is the other day I was on a call, I was catching up with a dear friend, a colleague of mine, and he's been going through, the last few years have been some health issues. He, like many of us, is overwhelmed with all the things on his shoulders, right? He was running 2 organizations or 3 organizations a couple years ago, and he had back problems, and he was really focusing on his health. And he's doing so much better. It's amazing. But however, when I got on the call with him, it's like, how are you? How's your health, right? How are you doing? And he goes, I've just decided that I am somebody who will work 100 hours a week for the rest of my life. I just have to accept that. That's how I am, and that's who I'll always be. And that is true only if he wants that to be true, right? But the way that he said it was I just have to surrender. That's just how I am, and I just have to come to terms with and accept that that's who I'll always be. And most people think that way, but that is limiting. That is so limiting, and that is so untrue. If you want to be the person, and this is just an example, right? We all do this in different ways. If you want to be the person that works 100 hours a week and go, and your health comes secondary to your work and your career and what you achieve and accomplish, go for it. By all means, step into that identity. But if you don't have to be. And just because this is something I say all the time, something that all of my curriculums are based off of, just because something is doesn't mean it has to be, and you have the power to create meaningful change. But you have to know that, right? Has anybody ever told you that? So with me and in that conversation, I turned to him and I said, that's awesome if that's what you want. But it also doesn't have to be true. You get to choose what's true about you. You get to choose. When I was younger, I used to say, because I've always done the personal development and I've always gone deep within myself and just really done all of this stuff. This has got me where I am, right? And I used to say, I'm me on purpose. You get to be you on purpose. And so you are not at the mercy of your identity. You can shift your identity. You get to choose what that next evolution of the best version of you that you choose, that you want to be. is. And you get to do the work, which is the hard part, but it's also the expansive part, the fun part, the growth, the exploration, the success, right? You get to say, this is who the next evolution of me is. And now, what do I have to do in order to become him, her, they? We have so much power. We have so much power. We have so much agency. We just often in our society, we haven't been taught that that's true. And so I'm here to help you remember. Do you have questions? Do you have thoughts? Does this provoke any thoughts? And I really do want to say who you are today is amazing, and where you want to go, whatever your goals are, your dreams are, your vision is, your mission is, what got you here isn't going to get you there, especially in today's world. So what does that person look like? Not physically, right? But like what is the composition of that person? What makes up the identity of the person of who you get to be, not have to be, get to be, in order to accomplish and achieve all those visions, that mission that's on your heart? If you have questions, please share them. Like, your question could be like, how do you do that? Or maybe you know how to do that, right? So one of the ways in which to do that is first to decide that you want to, right? So, and that's where truly the work comes in. So I'm trying to go back to pick one area. I'm trying to think through the best way to do that. So pick one area. So for me, for example, last year, there's a good one. Last year, I realized, and this is something that many women, I believe can relate to. I realized that I was really terrible at receiving help, receiving support, receiving compliments, receiving whatever it was. I was really terrible at receiving. And we know we all have feminine and masculine energy in us, right? The yin and the yang, our wholeness. And the healthy feminine is able to receive. The healthy masculine creates the container for the healthy feminine to be able to receive in. And so if I want to be the next version of myself, I was like, I identified this one thing. I was like, I want to be really, really good at receiving all the things, right? Receiving support from my fiance when he wants to hold the door open for me. He used to say, like, your hands could be filled with bags and you have a coffee in this hand and you have something else in this hand, and you're still going to try to open the door when his hands are empty and he could just help me, right? So, and that was so true. That was so true about who I was. And I chose in a moment last calendar year, that I wanted to be really great at receiving. And so that was the work. And it started with that day. I was like, I am going to go and receive calm, and I'm going to go have a bath. It was the middle of the day. Aaron came home from work, and I was like, I'm in the bath. He's like, he came, sat down. He was like, what are you doing in the bath? It's like 3 p.m. I'm receiving, right? So, and I did the work, and now I'm really great at receiving. You want to give me a gift? Great. You want to give me a compliment? I'll take it. You want to give me your business? Like, all the things. I'm really great at receiving because I chose that that's who I wanted to be, and I worked towards it. So we get to do that. And the first step is really knowing, who do you want to be, identifying that. And it's not about guilt or shame. I wasn't angry with myself because I was terrible at receiving. Most women are. And it's not our fault, right? But we get to just choose differently. It's not about guilting or shaming or blaming or feeling bad about. It's just about going, oh, I get to choose different. And I get to be whoever I want to be. All right, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I would love to hear your thoughts, or even like, what do you want? What's the next evolution of you? I constantly am working to that next evolution of myself. And it's a success is an upward spiral, right? So it's not a straight line. When we go back and we revert to our previous defaults, we just get to go, great, that's an opportunity to continue to strengthen the skill and really step into the embodiment of my next level. You have control over that. That is yours. Nobody can take that from you. All right, let's do our drop-in. And in today's drop-in, intention of today's drop-in is whatever you want it to be. My thought, to put it out there, is to really feel into that next level of you. Who do you get to be? What are some areas that you really want to strengthen or shift, or belief systems? Belief systems are a big one, they're massive, that you want to shift, that you want to change. Because they might have served you in the past, but they won't serve you moving forward, and they don't serve you right now. So maybe today, in today's drop-in, it's really feeling into that next level identity for yourself and getting excited about meeting that person. Meeting that person is in meeting that person, but also meeting that person, meeting that next version of you and stepping into that embodiment. All right, so for those of you who are new, welcome. A drop-in is simply breathing. We fear, anxiety, the need for control, overwhelm, stress, worry, all lives in the brain. It all lives in the brain. And so to really have equanimity, which is inner peace, resonance, heart-brain coherence, regulated nervous system, we have to get out of all of that worry and all of that gunk that lives in the brain and get into the body. In your body, you actually have two extremely wise intelligence centers that most people have never been told about. So we have our brain is one intelligence center, great. We have our heart brain and we have our gut brain. And they give us so much access to clarity and wisdom and guidance and intuition and all the things, gut instincts, all the things, emotional EQ, emotional intelligence. And it's only by getting out of the brain and into the body that we really get to access all of that. And so that's why we do a morning drop-in, so to get you into regulation so that you can step into the rest of your day in your highest power. All you have to do is listen to my voice, breathe. What we do is we breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. That is called the halo active breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And remember that you are your highest authority. This is designed to feel good, feel calming, feel safe, feel expansive, feel joyous, feel energizing. So whatever feels good to your body, that is what gets to guide you. My voice is just background to help you get there. So shaking out, if you need to shake out whatever has already been today, shake out that energy. Getting still, getting comfortable. If you are driving, please don't do this. It is not safe. Come back to the recording, which you can find on YouTube, LinkedIn, and anywhere podcasts are streamed. And if you are in public and you can get still, but you're like, there's people around, I'm going to look silly, I'm going to feel self-conscious. Invitation to do it anyway, to lead by example, to gift yourself coherence, a regulated nervous system. Let everybody else think whatever they think. That is not your business. You get to lead by example. Be the best version of you. All right, so shutting down the eyes or softening your gaze, whatever feels most comfortable to you. Let's start that breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Getting still. Getting joyous if that feels good to you. If your voice in your mind, if your brain is kicking in and you're like, oh, I have all these to-dos and this email and this thing and that thing and the blah, 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 blah. Great, you come back to that in 10 minutes. In fact, what's helpful to me is I actually speak to my brain. I speak to myself all the time. And I say, essentially, I hear you. I know there's so much to do. I know you're keeping me on track, but if you give me this 10 minutes to tap into my body, I will be able to hear you and support you with even more clarity, with even more potency, with even more vision, all the things. And I find personally that that actually supports me in allowing my brain to kind of disengage, to disconnect, and to allow me to get into presence and to get into my body. So for whatever that's worth. Keeping that breath flowing, settling in. And on your next exhale, whenever that might be, out through the mouth, following that breath all the way through your body, down into your sit bones. An invitation here, keeping that breath flowing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Invitation here to practice bringing your awareness, consciously bringing your awareness to different places. So what we're going to do is you're going to feel into, if it feels good to you, feel into the sensation of your body against the seat that you are currently sitting on. What do you notice? Get curious about what you notice. There is no wrong, there just is. Is your body speaking to you? Is your body saying, you know what, my leg is a little uncomfortable like this, I'm gonna get more comfortable? Or is it saying, oh, isn't that interesting? How I feel these sensations. Just getting curious, being present with the sensations of the seat against your body. Keeping that breath flowing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And on your next inhale, in through the nose, following that breath, pulling it up from your sit bones, pulling that breath up through your belly, into your chest, and landing right there in that heart center of yours. And as you breathe, so mechanically you're breathing in through the nose and you're breathing out through the mouth. But what I'm inviting you to envision is that as you breathe in through the nose, that you're actually imagining that it is your heart that is opening up and pulling in that oxygen, pulling in that life force, pulling in that air and that energy. And as you breathe out through the mouth, bringing that breath from your heart down into your belly. So what we're doing is we're really connecting with those other two intelligence centers. And when we expand through the heart, that gets to feel so good and so expansive, so open. And when we breathe out into the belly, that gets to feel so grounding, so calming, so peaceful, so relaxing, so secure. And that's the cycle. Breathing in through the nose, expanding that heart space. Maybe you're opening up your chest cavity and really expanding the rib cage as you bring in that air. And then out through the mouth, allowing your body to sink in and feel good and feel calm and relaxed. As you breathe in through the nose, expanding that heart space, maybe you're also imagining that your heart's electromagnetic field is expanding past your bodily border. Just playing with that, with what that feels like. Does that feel good? And breathing out through the mouth, bringing that down into the belly, into the safety, into the relaxation, into the home that is your body. Taking that breath on your own, letting it feel really good, following what feels good. And as you take this breath, these breaths, invitation to get creative, to get inquisitive, get curious about who do you get to be? What is that best, highest, most whole, most potent, most powerful version of you? What does that version of you look like? What does that version of you feel like? There's no wrong, and the exercise here is to allow it to get exciting, to be exciting, to feel so good. Because that version of you exists. She, he, they, they're already there. It's just about consciously meeting them. And then asking yourself, okay, what do I get to do? What do I get to strengthen and work on to help me truly step into that version of you that already exists? It is not an illusion. It is not a moonshot. It is not a one day maybe if you don't want it to be. It's an exciting thing. It's the version of you that moves the mountains that you are here to move. That lives the life that you are here to live. It gets to feel good. It gets to be exciting. Keep that breath flowing and allow it to feel expansive. I've spoken in the past about one of the tricks is having one foot deeply in gratitude for all that you are today in this context, and getting so excited, having the other foot in so much joy and excitement about all that's coming to you, all that you're creating, all that you get to be, all that you're becoming. So let's live in that place. Because you're already exceptional. And what's that next version of exceptional? What does that look like for you? Let's get excited and allow this to feel so good. Last few moments of breath, let's call in gratitude. If you don't have a hand on your heart, maybe bringing a hand to your heart means you breathe in the excitement about where you're going and who you're becoming. Let's have some deep gratitude for who you are, because the version of you, of who you are today, showed up this morning, showed up in the last 25 minutes. You gifted yourself these moments, this moment of tranquility, this moment of ease, this moment of remembrance, this moment of expansion, this moment of coherence. You can be grateful to yourself for making that choice, because it was a very wise choice. Last few breaths. Really taking it in. Can you turn up the dial a little bit on whatever feels good to you right now? And when you're ready, wiggling your fingers and your toes and coming back to the moment. And if you feel called, I'd love to hear in the chat or in the comments how that landed for you, how that experience was for you, how you're feeling. And before we head into the weekend, just the reminder that you get to be you on purpose. I will say that I say I don't care. I don't mean it as I don't care, but I don't care what the excuses are. I don't care what the world is around you. You get to choose. You have the power, you have the agency, you have access to the self-empowerment that no matter what is happening in your world or in the world outside of your body, you still get to choose who you get to be for that next evolution of you and all that you're here to experience and to live and to create and to achieve. That is yours. Nobody can take that away from you unless you choose to let them. Sometimes it doesn't feel that simple, and I understand that. And sometimes I'm not talking about, being in controlling relationships or abusive relationships. Like, that is outside of the realm and the scope of what we're talking about here today. I am talking about you knowing that you have the power and the choice and the agency to really envision who you want to be, that next best evolution of yourself, that person of you who is moving those mountains, who is succeeding at your goals, at your biggest, wildest, most delusional dreams. Who do you get to be that person? She, he, they already exist. They're already there. It's not a moonshot. It's not delusional. It's choice. And that choice begins with getting still and feeling into that version of you, getting excited to meet and to embody that next level. And then breaking it down into, okay, what are some of the qualities and the traits that you get to embody? And then what's your support system for helping you get there? And if you truly do want a support system for helping you get there, not just the support, or we shouldn't even just say not just, the support, the energetic work, right? The regulated nervous system work, as well as the intellectual research and sciences to prove to your brain that all of this is possible and here's how, as well as a support system of other incredible leaders doing the work just like you, working to step into and embody that next incredibly best version of themselves and their leadership, then check out the Visionary Leadership Mastermind, melissaagnes.com. Visionary Leadership Mastermind. The doors are now open. This 12-month program, and it's 12 months, because embodiment isn't just an intellectual exercise, and it's not a fast-paced exercise. We can fast track it, but breaking down belief systems and really stepping in and learning all the skills and having that support and failing and having the support to help pick you up and do it better and do it more and really become that next best version of yourself, that requires a support system. It doesn't happen overnight. And so that's why 12 months. Go check it out. If any part of your body is like, maybe, go check it out and apply. It's by application only. I'm extremely selective with the container and the energy and the support system and all the things that it contains, that it involves. So if you're interested in learning more, melissaagnes.com. Below the recording of this video is a link to the Visionary Leadership Mastermind at melissaagnes.com. Go check it out. Go apply. I can't wait to chat with you about it. And with that, I am wishing you a most beautiful weekend. I will see you on Monday. Just a heads up, next week I will be doing lives Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I will be off Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. I'm traveling, and it's my bachelorette retreat, so that's exciting. So I will not be doing these lives, but next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I will be here. So come join me live, LinkedIn and IG, 9 a.m. Eastern for those 4 days, and then I'll be back once I get back from my travels. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for choosing you. Thank you for dropping in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. I will see you on Monday. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you again. Bye.